Good morning and welcome to the Free Minute from sunny Palo Alto, California. My co-founder Jenny and I are going to speak at Stanford in less than an hour. So I'm recording this just before to give you the news that nonprofit fundraisers need to know this week. Starting out, after stocks rallied last week, they opened somewhat down this morning because of big economic news that Moody's downgraded the US government as a lender late Friday, blaming large fiscal deficits and rising interest costs. So we went from a AAA to just the slightly lower. This put interest rates on bonds higher, which usually creates downward pressure on stocks. We'll continue to follow. Effects this morning were somewhat muted compared to expectations so far. There was good news and bad news on inflation. So in April 2025, what's called the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI, rose just 0.2% on an annual inflation rate of 2.3%. This is the lowest 12-month rate since February of 2021. So very good news on inflation there. But bad news is that expectations around inflation are the worst they have been since 1981. There was a new University of Michigan report that showed one-year inflation expectations soaring to new levels, and that is because of expectations around tariffs. So you have the reality of what happened last month in inflation compared with the expectations of very sharp rises in inflation going forward. What will this do? It will put continued pressure on small dollar donors. So we really want to keep focusing on our major donors as well as obviously plan giving, which is immune to inflation. Shifting gears out of economic news for a moment, two really interesting things happening in AI. The first and probably most important is that that Google's Alpha Evolved solved never before solved math problems that had been vexing mathematicians for decades. Now, what does this mean? Those math problems probably don't mean anything to your nonprofit. What does matter is that we're starting to see new discoveries coming from AI. And if that can increase human progress, new science, new health, new physics discoveries, just really interesting things that could mean a huge leap forward in human progress. I mean, just incredibly exciting things potentially here. Also saw that new Morgan Stanley report shows that 14% of the US population is using ChatGPT, Gemini, which is Google's AI, or Meta AI from Meta, 14% every single day. This is an increase from 11% 6 months ago. That's actually a pretty meaningful jump. It's a big increase in the raw number of people. Gemini has seen the largest growth, but all across the board, you're just seeing more people bake this into their daily existence, and we'd expect to see this continually growing. 25 to 45% of users now see this for shopping, price comparison, and product research. What does that mean? It means that soon, probably this end of year, they'll start to be using it for comparison of nonprofits around giving. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll share some tips on that going forward. So have a wonderful week. We are off to go to Stanford right now, but have a great week and looking forward to speaking with you all soon.